What's up guys, how many are excited for today's video? So we're actually going to be touching a subject that a lot of us go through in our lives but we don't like to talk about it, and it's dealing with mental health. And we actually have one of our own special guests tonight that is going to be the first time, and her name is Victoria Cantoral.
Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about my own experience going through mental health.
Alright, so let's just dive right in. So when do you believe that it all started? What can you say was the root of it all?
So it was actually very randomly. I was at work and then I came home and I just had like a whole panic attack, but I wasn't noticing that like before I was like having like anxiety and depression. Like I didn't notice that was such a thing.
Okay, that moment when you had that panic attack when you came home, were you thinking of anything that could have maybe led to it?
Not really. Like I was just like, it was so randomly. Like I was on the phone and I was just like, and I just noticed that I started like, let's say, tripping, and then it wasn't like myself at that point.
So tell me how a day would look like for you.
I would wake up in the morning and I would just live the same thing over and over. I would go to work and it just seemed life just seemed pointless at that time. People would talk to me and it's like I wasn't there mentally. Like,
now, what were the mental battles you were facing in those moments?
it felt like I had a lot of voices just talking to me in my head at once, and I was just like going crazy by the voices that I had telling me that I was going to die or to commit suicide, or that I was crazy, that I was not going to be okay.
Okay. Now, would you be able to say it affected you physically or emotionally?
Yeah, I could say that it affected me physically because I just started losing a lot of weight. I wasn't able to gain weight, or I lost appetite. And it took me to a point where I had to quit my job because I just wasn't able to get out the house and do like what a regular person is able to do.
And can you say you had control of it or no?
Well, at first, since I didn't know what really I was going through, it felt like I didn't have no control. So it was just like it was just driving me crazy at the point. But when I started noticing what really was it felt like I had more control over it, and I was able to dominate what was driving me crazy at that time.
How long were you fighting this mental health?
I could say that it took me like 2 months, but it just felt like it was like a whole year. It was like a short period of time, but it just felt like a long time. But for me to for me to overcome it completely, I could say it took me like 6 months.
Okay. Would you be able to say you had people to rely on during that time?
Well, I had my mom who was with me, taking care of me like 24/7, like no matter what time of the day, she was there taking care of me. And then I also had Carla, which is my leader, that she was there at all times that I needed her. I'll call her whatever time and she will always be there praying for me and just helping me out through anything that I needed.
You were scared that you wouldn't be able to overcome this.
While I was dealing with mental health, I was always scared that I wasn't be able to make it to the end or have my victory at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so can you tell me how you conquered this?
So I grew up in church, but I wasn't fully involved. But I always used to go. So like something would always sink in, and I actually had this voice that would always tell me that I was on this earth with a purpose. So that just pushed me to be great and to just give me the strength to overcome the battle.
Can you say that God was a very big factor in your success?
Yes, I feel like if it wasn't because of him, I wouldn't be here today.
Okay, so what can you tell me that you learned from this experience?
What I could say that I learned is that even the lowest points that we go through our life just builds us in who we are going to be. And no matter what happens in life, if it's the lowest or the highest, everything happens for a purpose.
Alright, so if you were to fall into this again, would you know how to get out?
I can say that first, all the thoughts that are just thrown at you in your head mentally are just lies that the enemy just uses to make you believe it and to drown you into that point. So first, I wouldn't believe everything that's thrown at me, and I would just hold on to the truth, which is just be deeper into prayer and know that everything is going to be all right.
Man, I like that answer. So there's one thing you could tell yourself, if you could have said to yourself, in those moments, what would it be?
So it's actually a Bible verse that kept me going, that it says, she's clothed in strength, she shall not fail. So that would just push me and just give me the assurance that is strength within me, and I'll just overcome everything, that I'll be okay.
Now, what is something you would like to tell, our viewers that are maybe going through this same mental battle right now?
So what I can tell you is that everything is going to be okay, and to never be scared to open up about this, because there's actually many people who go through this, and there's actually many people who go through this. They just do not open about it. So never believe or think that you are alone, because you're surrounded by people who are willing to help you. And also, I believe that you seeking of God is going to get you where you are going to be, because when he puts you in lowest points in life is to mold you in who he wants you to be, and to just get the best out of you.
Now, to just backtrack on what Victoria said, guys, just always know you have a community here that wants to help you, wants to just motivate you and be those people that you can lean on. As she said, don't ever think you are alone in this. You're walking together with God with this, and this is just one of the people that were able to talk about this, and she battled it, and now she is a survivor of that. So just like she did it, you guys can do it too. Okay, so thank you so much for watching and staying to the end, and thank you for being the first guest, and we'll see you next Thursday.